Good evening, Cryptid fans. That's what we usually say when we start the show tonight. We're going to say good evening, UFO fans. We got a special treat tonight. Sounds to me, talking backstage, we got one hell of a guest here tonight. It's going to give us a little different twist for Old Line Cryptids tonight. And Gina from New York, how are you?
Hi there. I'm fine. I'm just fine tonight. How are you guys?
Awesome. I'm sure everybody here is going to be
You're good.
chomping at the bit with questions. Jeffrey, I know you're good to go tonight. David, Spock, whatever you're going by tonight. Real quick. We got to do this. We do this every week for David. We're checking out that beard. He's starting to get shaggy looking there now. All right. Anyway, we're gonna actually turn the reins over to David tonight. You know, David, way back in actually before he became a third co-host with us, did his best to tell his incredible story. Happening, not story. With alien something. Lord knows what was going on that particular incident, but I look at David as somebody who's had tremendous experience with something not of this world, and I'm going to turn the reins over to him and let him talk with Gina and run the show. I'm going to keep my eyeballs on chat here, and if you guys have questions for Gina, by all means, we'll let her tell her story, and all caps, please. If not, I'll be watching irregardless whether you use all caps or not. But we'll be letting her take questions after she tells her story. So, and as always, we got the Milkman with us. The show wouldn't be the show without the Milkman, Mr. Jeffrey. And by all means, we're getting very close to I believe it's April 6th for the Oddcast podcast, and you're going to be hearing that. I'm going to run it in the ground. So we got a logo up there beside Jeffrey, and we're gonna. I think this Friday, if it works out, we're gonna do a live hit with them.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long the show will be. It's not going to be this channel. It's going to be their channel, the Oddcast podcast, off the record. And I went over there and I seen that they're getting subscribers like crazy. I wish we could get them that fast. So it's free. Like, subscribe, share, comment.
Jerry, everybody loves conspiracy theories.
Yeah, well,
It's got a conspiracy fact now.
Yeah, that's his baby. We're not going to impede on that. So, but keep an eye out on Facebook and stuff for the link to watch that Friday night. I don't think it's going to be anything. Who knows? He might once he sees it's up and running and going, he may just go ahead and run with the show for a little while. Friday, we'll see. I'm not gonna. That's their decision. So that's Chad and Erica Black. So that's going to be a fun new show coming out. We also have another one that's coming out. You know a little more about that, Jeff? It should be coming out soon. Adam?
No, I haven't heard. I haven't really heard from him.
We got to get a hold of Adam. I know he's ready to cut loose too, with a live podcast too. So we'll get to talking to him. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to keep an eye on chat, and I'm going to put David and Gina in the forefront, and you all just have at it. Good luck. We'd love to hear your story, Gina. Feel comfortable. Nobody here is going to look at you and say you're crazy, because that's not true. We're not going to, anytime we see that, which we never have, but we won't stand for it. All you guys, I'm going to shuffle everybody around, put you two up top, and let you have at it.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
So, Gina, let me first off say that I welcome you to the show, and I thank you so much for coming on and reaching out. And I know it takes a lot of guts, and ridicule's bad, and even family can be the worst about it, And so, first of all, I want to thank you for doing it and coming on here tonight.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. I'm thankful to you also, that I found your show, because actually you were the first. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think you were the first ones that caught my eye. So, I stopped here, and believe me, I'm just glad, because I did try to reach out, in other ways to tell tell what I saw, but it didn't work out. So that was another reason why I left. But so you want me to just tell you from the beginning?
Sure. You want to tell everybody kind of like your background and where you're at and all that, and kind of introduce yourself? And
right, good idea.
Okay.
So, my name is Gina. I live upstate New York. I'm a senior now, and I'm a veteran. I've been retired for I don't know, since 2016, I think. Yeah, and I've been living upstate for the last 25 years, I would say. Born and raised in the city, in Manhattan, the upper end of Manhattan, a place called Inwood. And so anyways, my family all moved upstate. So I moved upstate in 1996, something like that, I had all kinds of different jobs. And, the day came I could retire. So I took the opportunity, right? So anyways, so I'm up where I am now. Yes, was I up here? Yeah, I was up here in 2021. So anyways, my story begins pretty much in 2021. It was, we were just coming out of the pandemic, kind of that, vaccines were available and stuff like that. It was a big mess back here, But anyways, it was a big mess everywhere. Yeah. But anyway, so I had 5 cousins that lived down in the Bronx, not in the Bronx, down in Inwood, my own neighborhood. So on this particular day, it was like spring, just like now. It was just like now, spring of 2021. And during the pandemic, I would go down once a month, twice a month, and bring them like supplies, They're not doing too well down there. So money-wise, so I would bring them supplies for the pandemic and stuff. And then I started cooking for them. So once or twice a month, I would go down to visit them and bring them a pot of stew or a pot of sauce with meatballs in it, So this day, I am on, it was a Saturday, I believe it was. And I left my house probably around 10:15, because anytime I would go down to them, I go through McDonald's and get some breakfast, right? So I did that. And so you figure by 10:30, 11:15, I'm on the road. So now I'm taking the back road down to the highway that I need to get to, because it's faster, more convenient, right? It's a beautiful sunny day. It's so sunny that, you got to open your windows, and it was a little cool still, because I remember I had my green, like a heavy windbreaker coat on, jacket on. So anyways, okay, so I leave McDonald's. I get on Route 9. I'm going south on Route 9 up here in Dutchess County, right? It's about a 30-minute ride to where I have to go to get onto the highway to get down to my cousin's house in the city. So I'm driving, nice, everything is cool. And 30 minutes go by. I come down onto Route 202, which is the road that's going to take me to the highway, the Taconic State Parkway, because that takes me down to the city in another 30 minutes, right? So now I start getting excited, because now is when everything starts to happen. Anyways, so I'm going east on 202 towards the highway. And right before the, you get the entrance to the highway, there's a traffic light, right? Because there's a mall to my left and there's a gas station to my right. So cars are coming and going. So I know this light. It's a long light, right? So with that in my mind, I put my hand out to do something to the radio. maybe turn it on or turn it up or whatever. Mm-hmm. And with doing that, my eyes also looked up, and it was blue sky. It was a nice big white puffy cloud over here on the right. It was a nice little puffy white cloud over here on the left, and the blue sky. And all of a sudden, I noticed something. And I'm looking up, and I see something, and it's white. It's white. Stop. It's white. It's white like plastic, like the material they put inside your showers, you know, inside. So anyway, so this all happened so fast. Within seconds, I'm looking up at this thing, and my mind is thinking, what is that? It's not a plane. It's not a drone, because it don't look like a drone, don't have no legs hanging off of it, or, you know, wings or lights. It's just this thing in the sky that is shaped cylindrical, right? Cylindrical, round shape. White at this end, white at the other end. So now picture this. I'm looking at this thing up in the sky, and the cloud to the right moves just enough that the sun shines down on this thing right in the middle of it. And you could see what looked like a reflection. You know, the sun was reflecting off of the material or the thing. I said to myself, this is all happening in seconds. I says to myself, what the heck is this? Then I think, get your phone, get your phone. I'm fumbling to get my phone. I can't get the wire out, pull the wire out fast enough. Within seconds, all of a sudden, the light starts to shake. The guy behind me, beep, beep. I said, oh, shit. I dropped the phone, put my hands on the wheel. Just as I stepped on the gas. Now, I'm still looking up through my windshield at this thing, right? All this last couple of seconds. And all of a sudden, I'm moving a little more, and I'm almost on the ramp to get on the highway, and all of a sudden, it went. It took off like a bat out of hell, supersonic bat out of hell. And right then and there, I had such a fear come over me. I never felt a fear. And it excited me so much that as I got on up the ramp onto the car, I was shaking. Now I'm starting to shake because I'm starting to relive it, like, you know, feel it.
That's fine.
And so I had to stay in the right lane, the slow lane. I kept telling myself, calm down. What the F was that? I said. I'm yelling in the car. What? I tried to put a cigarette in my mouth, trying to light a cigarette. I said, holy shit, pull over or something, right? So I said, no, I'm not going to pull over. I'm just going to calm down, slow down, and I'm going down to my cousin's. I seen it. I seen one. And now, holy, you know, I kept cursing. I couldn't stop cursing. I was in so much, you know, I don't usually curse a lot, but I was overwhelmed. So now I got another 30-minute ride to go down to get to my cousin's house. So I'm just holding onto the steering wheel, like trying to calm my nerves, because my whole body was shaking like I had just experienced something. Well, yeah, I did just experience something. Mm-hmm. I just experienced something that I hear other people say. I've seen YouTubers, people send all kinds of videos. They catch things in the night skies, right? So I say to myself, I've been watching the History Channel all my life. Friday nights always was Ancient Aliens, okay? That was my favorite show. So, so anyway, and I always thought Ancient Aliens had a good argument, okay? That there could possibly, you know, there are aliens there somewhere. You know, whether they're coming from other planets or whether they're coming from another another dimension, you know? So, but I've always had a strong sense, and I've always had a belief in God, you know, that religious God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always said, as I watched the History Channel, that until they prove to me, you know, show me some proof, I'm going to believe God. I'm going to believe what I was taught, you know, period.
Yep.
But like some people say, we don't know if God hasn't created some other beings, or there's other, we know there's thousands of galaxies out there. Thousands. Okay. Yeah, we could just be the only one, but I don't know, man. Nowadays, right? So, anyways, let me get back to the story. It takes 30 minutes for me to calm down. I get down to my cousins. I come in. They're happy because I got a pot of sauce or a pot of stew or something. Italian bread under my arm, you know. And they're like, "Hey, Gene, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm okay, guys. How are you guys?" You know, the three boys and my cousin Garos, one female. And what was I going to say? So I said, "Okay, put the pot on the stove, you know, put a low flame. We'll come inside and talk." I said, "You're not going to believe what happened to me." Right? And they're the first people I actually get to see. So I said, "You're not going to believe what happened to me." And they all come, you know, they're all in the room. Garos comes in. I says, "I seen a friggin' UFO. And it was just sitting there in the sky. I would have never seen it if I wasn't the type of person that when I look up into the sky, I notice the pretty, you know, I notice."
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, so all three of the boys looked at me like, yeah, you know, and you know, Gayrose said to me, "Really, Gina?" I said, "Gayrose, really? And let me sit down and let me tell you." So she was interested, right? So the boys had to listen because we were all in the same room. But so I told her the story I just told you guys. Exactly it. And she was like, "Yeah, wow, I believe you, you know, blah, 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 blah." So anyways, then after that, they all broke out and started smoking a joint, you know. And I stayed for like a half hour more. And then I left because I like to get home early. You know, I like to get home by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So I left their house. And of course, I walk out of the building. I'm saying, "Yeah, they don't believe me. Who's going to believe me?" Because, you know, my cousins, they're one of my cousins that was there, he's the joker in the family. So he probably thought I was pulling a joke on them to see how I get their reaction, you know. Okay, so anyways, I go back home. Now, I'm still just as excited as if it just happened, right? I actually feel like time has not moved very much.
Yeah, it was profound to you. That's why.
Yeah, it really was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get home, and I came home, and I'm sitting here, and I'm saying, I have to report this. I have to report this. So who do I so I said, okay. Oh, and I've heard of MUFON, that it's an organization that, you know, takes it serious. So so I went on Google and I looked them up, you know, and I got their the website. I went on to the website looking for how to report something, and I found at the very bottom, the very bottom of their page, it says, I think it said report a sighting or sighting reports, something like that. So I clicked on there and I started to fill out my information, whatever information it was asking me, I was filling it out, right? It basically asked me for where I seen it, what, you know, what time, what day, you know, blah, 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 all that kind of information, right? Who, what, where, and why. And then I went to hit the submit button, and I hit it, and it didn't do anything. So I gave it a second, and I tapped it again, and it went away. It went away. like I lost the page. And I put the phone down on my lap and I said, okay, if this isn't friggin' creepy crap, I don't know what is, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like, dang, I felt scared. I felt fear. Okay, so anyways, but it was only like a few seconds, you know? And then I realized, okay, let me calm down. Maybe I need another day to calm down, right? Tomorrow's another day. I'm going to go over and see my sister. And I will tell her. I will talk to her. And I know, I knew what the reaction would be. So the next day came. I go over to my sister's. Hello, how you doing? We'll have coffee. We're talking, blah, blah, blah. And I told her that I went down to see the cousins, brought them down some food and stuff. And she said, oh, yeah, nice. So we started talking. I said, Mary, you're not going to believe what happened to me. So she looks at me like, oh, like what? Like, I said, no, nothing happened bad. I said, something happened to me you're not going to believe. So she looks at me. She's just like, wow, what do you mean? I said, I seen a UFO. I'd seen something that I would call a UFO because the way it took off, that's not us. We don't got that. We don't got that. Because, you know, from far as I know, we don't have something that goes that fast. You know, Star Trek? Remember Star Trek? When they did a warp drive and they took off? Well, that's what it was, sweetheart. So I don't think we have that. Well, maybe we do. That's another thought that went through my head on the way down to the cousins. Maybe it is ours. Maybe it's China. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's aliens. Could be us.
Mm-hmm. You
know, I'm like, I try to do some searching on YouTube, and I have found out that the U.S. military and even Elon Musk has a submersible ship, which means it's like it's a floating looks like what's that animal, stingray, you know? Okay, it's shaped like that. Now I've seen this on YouTube somewhere. So is it real? Is it true? Well, who knows, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it was something that he had put out to show. Okay, so anyways, so I told my sister, man, just like I thought. She looked at me sideways and she said, yeah, really? I said, I know you're not going to believe it. I said, but I seen something and it took off. And before it took off, it was just sitting up in there. I said, no, that light, I told my sister, you know that traffic light I'm talking about on Route 202. You know, it's a long light. 2-3 minutes, that's probably long, okay? Because you got a lot of traffic coming in and out, right? So that light, you're sitting there for a couple of minutes. Anyways, so she knows she knows the space I'm talking about. And before I get on the highway, in front of me, there's an arch. So you can the road goes under the highway, right? Mm-hmm. So as the circle of the arch is that I'm sitting in front to, I can either go under the arch or I can get on the highway, right? This thing was no more than say 50, 60, 70 feet in the air from the highway, okay? The arch, the highway was above me, right? So, and
it was only 60 or 70 feet above that arch, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's close. That's incredibly. That's awesome.
That is.
Now look. It could have been more. I'm not good with. It could have been 100 feet in the air, 150, but it was not like 1,000.
Yeah.
You know, the cloud, I'm upstate, so the clouds are low to us more than the city. The city, the clouds stay above the buildings, the high buildings and stuff. But up here, the clouds come down more because we don't have tall buildings upstate, you know? Mm-hmm. So anyways, I mean, that's what I think anyways, you know? Mm-hmm. And anyways, so after my sister, I said, okay. And I never did try to go back on MUFON, you know? I just said, let it go. I seen it. Now I know they're not crazy. And like I said, I'll believe it when I see it, right? So I seen something that was like a Tic Tac, you know, white, like a Tic Tac is white, the candy. And like I said, it wasn't a plane, a bird, helicopter, a drone. So now I'm always looking now, no matter where I go, no matter where I drive, no matter where I walk. Every now and then I peek up into the sky. I have a nice balcony that I have that sits out to like the northwest of my building, and the sky is right there, so the clouds are right there. So I'm always looking. Plus, there's the airport. A small airport up here. So I have a lot of planes. So I'm always running out to look at the red and the green lights in the sky to make sure they're planes and not something else, you know?
I guarantee it.
So is that the first and only time then that you've ever seen anything like that, or?
I thought so. It wasn't until a few days ago, let me tell you, that I had remembered an incident that happened before this. 2018, I think it was. I was, since I'm a veteran, right? Go to the VA hospital for my care, you know, see my doctors and stuff like that. And this one day I met a fella at the VA. He was in a wheelchair, and young fella in his 40s. So I stopped, say hello to him, talk to him a little bit. Oh, the reason why I did is because I recognized his face. So we stopped and we talked a little bit, and come to find out that he's, you know, been through rehab, and he's in a living facility, right, at the VA. So I was giving him a ride to and from meetings that he was going to, okay? And so we got to be pretty good friends, right? Anyways, make a long story short. So one night, it's in the summertime, had to be 2018. I'm taking Joe back, right? So he's in the wheelchair, gets in the front seat. I fold up the wheelchair. It wasn't that heavy. I picked it up, put it in the trunk of the car. I'm taking him back to the VA, right? We go. I drop him off. I'm exhausted. So I'm on my way coming home. And I'm on the Bear Mountain Parkway is what it's called, right? The highway coming north. And I know where I'm going because I only live 15 minutes away from the VA hospital, right? So now I'm driving, and it's very dark all of a sudden, I notice. The highway don't seem to be as lit up as it usually is. So I make sure I have my headlights are on and stuff, you know. And I was, you know how you're driving, but you're thinking about something else? So that's what I was doing. I was driving on my way home. I knew I was on my way home. I was on my path. I was thinking about Joe. And I was thinking about how I got to give the guy a lot of credit. He's a combat veteran, was in Afghanistan. So he got blown up a little bit, but he's okay, but his leg is bad. So anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, don't tell me I'll lose my thought. Oh, so all of a sudden, I find myself, I should have just been going straight. I was at this light that I remember. I knew if I made the left, it's going to take me around a circle to the Bear Mountain, to the actual Bear Mountain. And then I stay straight, that's taking me home to my house. So all of a sudden, I find myself, I'm halfway around that circle. And I wasn't supposed to be there. And I thought to myself, what the hell am I doing here, right? How did I make this wrong turn? Maybe I had the music too loud. Maybe I was thinking too much, you know. not paying attention. And I got scared. I felt like, how could I get lost? How could I get lost in my own neighborhood? So I come around the full circle and make the left to go back to my neighborhood. And again, I said to myself, what the frig is this? So now I added that up to, I was tired, had a long day with him. We were out, probably went to the movies, had something to eat, and then I was taking him home. So I was tired, right? And maybe I thought, could I have fallen asleep for a second? For somehow lost track of what I was doing. Because I don't know how that happened, guys. I don't know how that happened. Yeah. So I went home that night. And again, I was like checking myself for friggin' things in my ears or things in my necks where, you hear people say they've been abducted. Right? You lose sense of time. Well, I lost the sense of time, man. And I can't explain that. Other than I was tired. It seemed very slow. Like I was halfway around before I realized where I really was. And that's what scared me. I should not have been there.
So if you were driving normal, like when you were aware, how long would it have taken you to drive that halfway around? Like 10 minutes? I mean, was it?
No, less. Like 6 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, because the circle is just as, it's not that big. And yeah, I would have done it in about, say, 6 minutes to get me back, but I shouldn't have went that way.
Yeah.
Right. And I was sober, guys. I'm not drinking. I'm not drugging. So I have had 2 incidences that I don't seem to I don't understand that. Yeah. I still check myself. I can tell you another story you probably won't believe, but I have another story just popped into my head. See, I'm the type of person. Is it okay for me to keep talking?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. I'm the kind of person that I've always been very, very sensitive to, other people's plights. I'm sensitive to other people. I'm considerate of other people. I treat you the way I like to be treated, And I've seen things. I've seen 1 or 2 things 2018, 2019 with my younger brother, Willie. He's not with us anymore. He died in 2019. But let me just tell you this, since I want to tell you this. So here I am one day, me and my brother in the car. We're probably coming back from doing laundry. We're driving down the little road to our town, going back to our house. And all of a sudden, to the left of me, I notice there's a man standing there, and he's got to be 10 feet tall. And he's dressed like, first I thought lumberjack. And then I said, no. I kept looking, and I'm trying to drive, and I'm looking. And then I says to my brother, Willie, look over here to the left. Do you see this guy? You see that big old giant of a man over there across the street, right? And I see his head look, and he looks back at me, and I said, well. And he didn't say anything. He didn't answer me. So I looked again. I said, will you please tell me if you see him or not? That's all I want to know. Or am I losing my mind here?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And he said, I don't see any big guy. I don't see any big guy. There's nobody on the sidewalk there. I said, yeah, okay, fine. We go home. And now I'm freaked out even more. So, you see, I'm kind of going back to all these things that have happened to me that started off with April 2021. But anyways, so listen. I think I saw this guy, man. And he was dressed like long brown hair, big old long beard, like somebody you would find in a the movies back in Robin Hood. You know how they in the woods, they lived in the woods, the guys were dressed. That's how this man was dressed. And he had a perfect color combination to his clothes. He was 10 foot tall, this man, okay? He was in blue and gray. He was in a light blue and gray. And everything, the hat, his jacket, his pants, his boot, everything matched. Perfect. And that's why by the time I got home and I went over all of that in my own little head, and I kept talking to Willie, and he said, I didn't really see anybody, Jim. I said, okay. That's all I want to know, you know? And so like a year later, my brother passed away. And I look back at that experience sometimes, and I wonder if it was some kind of a warning, or if it was somebody trying to tell me something. Because at the time, he was weak and vulnerable, and I was taking care of him. He was a liver transplant recipient, so he really needed care, you know, he needed to be cared for. But he lived 6 years, which was beautiful. But I've never told that story to anybody either, because I talked to the Lord, I talked to God about that, because it might have been, you know. Because I'm thanking you for giving me this opportunity for telling my stories here, because I knew this was going to come out. I knew a lot more would come out, because I haven't been able to tell anybody these stories. And like I said, I wasn't on drugs and I wasn't drinking the time these, you know what I mean? I've been sober a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to say that I can believe people now, you know? And I'll have, you know, understanding for them and stuff like that. And you figure, well, what do you think it is, you know? Is it aliens, or is it, you know, if it's another dimension? Because there's all kinds of YouTube where you get information about, you know, CERN and what they're doing, and I don't know what they're doing, but all kinds of people are talking about them.
Yeah.
And, you know, you bust into that, you know, whatever our human eyes don't see, we may not want to go there, you know?
Yep. I agree.
Right? There's a
Yep.
show. Have you seen the show? It's a History Channel. It's called what is it? The Ranch. Skinwalker Ranch. Have you seen that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So you know about them, right?
Yes.
So I have been watching them, right? And I can't miss an episode when it was on. It's not on right now. I'm hoping it comes back. But let me tell you something. I was constantly yelling at the TV, you guys shouldn't be doing this. You're pushing into dark places that we don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And now listen to this. So since that last episode, which was last year, they haven't been on. They haven't been back. I have a feeling somebody stopped it, because they were really investigating, okay, that Skinwalker Ranch. They had videos. They had all kinds of proof that there was flying saucers going into the mesa and coming out of the other end of the mesa. They're in, where were they? They're like in Utah or somewhere, Arizona. I think Utah.
Yeah, I think Utah.
Yeah.
I think it is Utah.
So, and then, you know, everything is like, I don't know what to say. You know, look what happened not too long ago over New Jersey and New York with all these, the drones and the orbs. So now, try to go through it all. What I heard was the drones were tracking the orbs. because they don't know what the orbs are. People have seen them. Governments have seen them. Even they admitted they don't know what they are. But the drones, they say, the drones are probably, man-made, commercial, and some of these drones are big enough that there's probably a person in it driving it, flying it, that's supposed to be commercial, I guess. But I don't know, man. I give up. So that's what I've been around. That's what I've been through. And yeah, it feels good to be able to get off your chest and just say, you have to, anything is possible, right?
Absolutely.
So, I believe one day we'll find out. When that day comes, we'll probably find out, if there is, but there could very well be, because ever since Roswell, go back to Roswell and go back to the people who follow that. There's that lady reporter, I forget her name, but she follows, the blonde lady. She follows that. And, they're going to have to come out and tell us one day,
Yep.
And I don't think they're from another planet. I think they're from another dimension, and that's why they don't want to tell us. They don't want to say. Or they're going to come out and say they are from, Uranus, or they're from Sirius.
Pluto or wherever.
Well, yeah, they're from,
Sirius
XM up there,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's some cool stuff, man. Wow.
Yeah.
So
anyways.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just saying. So that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was awesome.
Absolutely.
I thank you for letting me tell it.
I know how you feel about saying it, because when I first show I went on and told it, man, it was really hard. I wanted to get it off my chest, but it was hard to spit the words out, especially the weirder stuff that it was, the harder it was to actually say it, and to hear myself say it was really strange. But afterwards, I felt so good about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can just forget about it. Keep it to myself for what it's worth, but it's a good conversation piece. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Hey, Joe, how you doing, Joe? What'd you do last week? Well, let me tell you, Gina. Sit down. Let me tell you. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I do have a couple of questions here. Before I lose them, let me just there's only 3 so far. This is the first one here. So, did it seem like anyone else in other cars were paying attention when you were at that red light to it, or?
No, good question. No. And no, because all I remember is fumbling with the phone, trying to get the phone so I could get a picture. And I knew I had a little more time because I knew that red light was long, but I couldn't get the camera. And the guy beeped his horn, and I knew I got to go. I can't sit here any longer. Yeah. So I dropped the phone because of the excitement, But no, I didn't notice anybody else. I didn't even think to look to maybe see if there was a car beside me or anything. I didn't. I was so fascinated in on it. I didn't want to lose sight of it.
Exactly. I'd be the same way. And I think a lot of that falls into the same thing with Bigfoot, Dog Man, whatever. That's the last thing on your mind when you got something there. You're like, oh my God, that camera is the last thing you think of. I would think,
Yeah, or looking around to see if anybody else. I mean, you're just taking it in.
Exactly.
Yeah,
shocked.
Exactly. I was like zoomed in,
Yep.
And it was after when I got onto the highway that I said, "Oh, I should have jumped out of the car I should have jumped out of the car, make them all stop and wait for me." But
last thing on your mind.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, if I was 20 years old, maybe that would have happened. But
exactly,
Any recent mutilations in that area?
Yeah, not that I know of, you know. We have a lot of deer up here, so once in a while I see a dead one in the road, but he's been runned over, you know, you can tell. He's, um, only one time. Oh, it's funny how I was walking my dog, right? When I first moved into this apartment complex. So I'm walking my dog down the road a little bit. On a grassy thing, a tree had fallen over. So it was a huge tree. So the bottom of the roots was this big thing sticking up out of the ground. My dog wanted to go over. She wanted to sniff. So we go over, and I saw what I thought was a dead goose. You know, we have geese around the apartments, right? So it looked like a dead goose, but it was really was ripped apart. So whatever got it good. Like there was no head, no neck. I think it was just like the bottom of it. And it was all rotted inside. And I thought, ooh, but we got coyotes up here. So it's probably a coyote got it. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've never heard other than what I've heard or read on TV, you know? Places like Skinwalker Ranch.
Have you researched anything around your area to see, or?
No, I never did. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll look into, that particular area where I was in the car coming home from dropping off my friend, the veteran. That is Peekskill, and that has a lot of history. President Lincoln went up and down that train track a lot during his running as first and second terms, because he did that a lot in the States, went from state to state by train. So there's a lot of history there in this area. A lot of revolutionary signs and posts and old churches, 1863 and, very, very old. So there's a lot of, you got Tarrytown, that's known for the headless horseman of Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, I don't never go into the woods, you know what I mean? Where I once lived before here, I was surrounded by the woods. So at night I could hear coyote. Yeah, I think it was the coyotes. And they sound like babies crying sometimes. Coyotes. So I'd be listening. I hear this. It sounds like a baby crying. But it's not. It's something like that.
Yeah.
And so my neighbor said, yeah, it's either a coyote or even a fox, maybe, because I've seen both. I've seen coyote and a fox down there. Up here, I haven't seen anything more than deer so far. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. So I had another question. When you were looking at it, could you judge how big it was for the height, or?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I tried to make. No, you're not going to be able to see this.
Yes, we will. You hold it up there. I'll enlarge your screen real quick.
Okay.
Let me take this off here real quick. All right. There we go. Okay.
Okay. So where my finger is, that's the car. I'm in the car, right?
Okay.
Here's the traffic light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the arch, here's the arch. That would be the driveway under the highway. So now I should have first I drew the craft or whatever it is before I drew the arch, right? So I should have put that cylinder thing up higher up here where it says blue sky. Okay? A little closer to this cloud. Sun was beaming down. The cloud moved a little, started to shine on the middle of it where I thought it was, had to be glass or a mirror or something. Anyways, I'm sorry. What was the question?
No, that was good. The size. Yeah, size.
Okay. It wasn't that big. Like it wasn't that big. It to me, it was like maybe, let me picture in my mind. What would I say it was? I don't know how I wouldn't know how to do the feed or but
Like a
okay,
school
here we
bus?
go.
Maybe a
Yeah, I
school
was gonna
bus?
say that. No, like the size of a Volkswagen Bug. Okay,
Big enough.
compact. It was round, cylindrical, and compact. Small. It wasn't big and long,
Gotcha.
And but I saw it.
You saw it for
Yeah,
sure.
I saw the whites of its eyes or whatever the hell it was, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but
That's an amazing story.
it
It
has
is.
it was yeah. I said about the size of a small Volkswagen. Okay, but weird, just weird. Anyways, I don't know what else to say.
No, you're doing perfect. That's awesome.
Hudson, if you got questions, please go ahead and feel free to put them
Yeah.
down here in chat. I'm running through chat now, and we'll happily get your questions answered.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
so it seems like you know your directions really well, which way the roads are running, and all that. Which way would you say it when it took off? Was it heading
Oh
north?
yeah. It went west towards the Hudson River. Okay.
Okay.
So the Taconic State Parkway was where I was getting on. And if you go west, say 3-4 miles, and you hit the Hudson River. Okay. And yeah, it took off. It was gone. I didn't see no trace, nothing trailing, no smoke or nothing. And so.
Wow.
It's an interesting area. I'm nosy. I like to do Google Maps and stuff. And you got Bear Mountain State Park on the other side of the Hudson River,
Yep.
and I mean it's Curtin Gorge State. Yeah, I mean it's definitely not city like. That's for sure.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
But I've been up here 23, 25 years. I'm out of the city,
Right.
So I only go down to see my cousins. Other than that,
Yeah,
but
you're not far from West Point, so.
right, it's like a hop, skip, and a jump. Not far at all.
Mm.
And you know what? I heard even too, and I forget what year it was. I don't know if it was 97 or 87. There were a lot of sightings upstate New York, right? But that was further up, like towards Albany.
Mhm.
Albany is like 150 miles from me. And so I could see, that's really up in the boonies, up in the woods, the big tall trees and,
Well, where I was talking about, it's just south of Albany when I say Cooeyman's Hollow.
Okay. Well, I'm not familiar with that, but they've had a lot of sightings there.
Oh, I don't know as far as UFO goes. I just know some people from that area.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, Gina, how you had the 3 experiences: the Tic Tac, the Tall Man, and then taking that loop road. How far apart were those incidences, as far as like years and time in between, and actually like topography wise? How far apart were they?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked me that. If to really think back, right? I believe 2018, 2017, even could have been 2017. Let me think a second. Was I still working? I was still working. So it was, oh wow. So it was like 2016. And I lost the question. What was it again?
About like the years in between the.
Oh yes. So you figure 2021. Willie passed away in 2019, so it had to be 2018. I saw the big guy, and all in the same time, between 2017 and 2019. or 2017 and 2021. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just a
So that's
couple
what 4 years. That's a couple years.
Yeah. Wow.
So, what does that make any sense? Or
Yeah. So, what about topography wise? How far apart, miles apart, were each of these? I mean, just kind of roughly.
yeah. Let's see. Okay, let me see. So you figure it's all in the same area.
Oh,
It's all in
really?
the same area because the Route 202 that I came down to go to the highway is a part of my old town, right? Where I used to live in 2016, 2017, 2018. 2020, I moved upstate after my brother passed away. Then I moved upstate. So yeah, it was all between 2017 and 2021.
Wow.
You know, so I don't. And let me tell you something. Now that I'm thinking about it, you're making me think.
Good.
That's not far in between.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I wonder if you're on a ley line, near a ley line or something there. Have you ever heard of those? I'm sure you have, probably.
yeah, I think I have. What is that? That's like a energy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
an
where they have it
energy.
like gridded on the globe is gridded with those energy lines or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but what was I gonna say? It's strange now that I think about it. You know what I mean? And I can go back before that. I was busy working. I wasn't seeing anything. I was busy watching my History Channel every Friday night, Ancient Aliens. You know, enjoying it, humming and hawing, agreeing with them, not agreeing with them. You know, stuff like that.
There you go. Look at here.
Until
sorry.
something.
Michael X
Yep.
is, I believe, from that area, or and there you go. Peaks in the Hudson River Valley. There was a wave of UFO sightings in that area back from spring of '83 through summer of '84.
There. Wow.
Yep.
33,
Yeah.
33rd parallel, Sean's saying. So you can look up, you can Google that, like where the ley lines are, and it'll show you a map.
Right. What are they called? Ley lines?
The ley lines, yeah. LAY, I think. Ley lines. Maybe I'm wrong on the ley part.
LEI? LEI? I'm not sure.
It could be LEI.
Did you say it was 33 degrees?
33, yeah.
Okay.
33rd
Yeah,
parallel.
I'll look that up. I'll look it up because, let me just tell you, I love sitting out on my balcony. I see the planes, the helicopters. Okay, now 2 weeks ago, can't be more than 2 weeks. I'm sitting out there, nice sunny day. All of a sudden, 3 black helicopters go flying by me. And I'm saying, oh, that's got to be military because it's all black. The windows are tinted black. I don't see no numbers on the helicopters. And, you know, they were pretty low. I seen them, and they just put it across. I said, now, where are these guys going, right? Maybe, maybe somebody was in New York City, some politician or somebody. Who knows, right? But so, like I said, I keep my eyes out now. Because even that, you know, usually they do use this airport up here to sometimes land when Biden was in and he was coming to New York, and if his vice president was coming to New York, they would come in up here, and the Chinook helicopter would take them to the city. Okay, they'd land on a heliport down there. So by me seeing these, like I seen one day also these 2 Chinooks, which I say they're Chinooks. They're the newest helicopter. Their blades are upwards, like.
Oh yeah.
They're not sideways. They're standing up and spinning, right? So that's new. Those are new, and but it was somebody must have been in New York. You know, they're gonna see that kind of stuff. As long as it didn't have little green men flying it, I'd be okay. You know. But I'm going to look that up. You're right. I need to Google that. I probably
So-
will
Search
now.
parallel. Yep.
Yeah, Erica,
Yeah.
I seen that in chat. She said it's spelled L-E-Y. The ley lines are L-E-Y.
L-E-Y.
Gotcha.
Do you believe in cryptids?
Yeah, I do. I think so. I ain't never seen one, but I have seen enough videos of people who, and shows like you, people talking about their experiences, seeing something,
Right. You want to see a cryptid? I'll show you a cryptid right now.
Yeah, sure. Oh, there he is.
There he is. Little hairy bugger.
That's
I'm
cool.
still here.
That's cool. That's cool. Nah, I don't want to see anything
Yeah.
not like that. Not unless I got a sawed-off shotgun with me. I mean, what would you do? You have to bring your gun, right? You don't go into the woods without your gun, right?
Well,
A
you
lot of
don't
people
want
do.
to. Some people do.
Yeah, some people do. I have, and I've also regretted it at times not having it. And so I pretty much do now. I don't flash it. It's always hidden. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, just for your own safety, just in case.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh.
usually because of animals and not some cryptid or anything like that. It's just animals.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyways, so what was I gonna say? Yeah, so now I say, now that I'm looking, I'm not gonna see it, right? It's when you're not looking, that's when you really sometimes they sneak up on you or whatever.
Yep.
There's another guy I watch, Mr. MBB 333.
Yeah, I watch him too.
Yeah, he's from Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now people send him all kinds of videos.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them, they see these orbs of light. Some is white, some turn colors,
Mm-hmm.
some turn red and green. Now some people have gotten some really heavy duty footage, okay? And you know how he knows how to, zoom in real good and to help us see a little better to what's
Yep.
really there. So, but there's a lot of things that he shows. There seems to be like a shield. Okay, go back to Star Trek again. When they put the shields up, right, to stop the enemy's fire to come in. Oh no, the shield to go invisible.
Yeah, like a cloaking shield.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or like, have you seen the movie Signs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a great, when the birds are flying into it and dropping straight out of there. That was awesome.
Yes. And that supposedly was real footage from Arizona. That footage that they showed in that movie. I watched that movie so many times. I loved that movie. That was a great movie. And you know what's funny about the you know who I identify with in the movie, in that movie? The little girl, the kid's sister. You know why I identified with her? This is really funny.
If you conceal carry, then you're probably going to want this right here.
Hello? Go ahead, Gina.
What the hell was I saying? I keep forgetting my.
You're identifying with the little girl.
Oh yes. So she was the type of girl. She had some kind of a thing with the water. I mean, she wanted to drink the water, and there was always germs in it, cooties, or the aliens did something to it, right? And so there's glasses of water all over their house. Do you know something I realized the other day? Wherever I go, I have a glass of water, half drank. It's sitting on my end table in my bedroom. There's two in there because I didn't take it from the night before. And every time I go in the bedroom to get those glasses, I say to myself, I'm the little girl in that movie. So when I see an alien, I'm going to have my glasses of water ready to splash him and see if it doesn't burn his skin, burn him, and then can say, yeah, this is a real alien.
That's right. Hey, because nothing happens on accident, right? Everything happens for a reason. Huh?
Exactly, right? Because
Yep.
I'm the type of person, I take a glass of water to bed with me. You know, I don't always remember to bring it out in the morning. So sometimes I go, my house has got glasses of half drained water all over. I said, I'm ready. I'm ready. You know?
That's awesome.
That's what I told myself. One day they're going to come out and say, bring out this big old green lizard looking thing. And they're going to tell us, oh, yeah, he's friendly and blah, 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 blah. And he's going to do us good. He's going to help mankind. And I'm going to take my glass of water and throw it in his face and watch his face burn off like acid.
That's awesome.
You know?
I think I identify more with Meryl. I'll be like, get my baseball bat.
Yeah.
I loved on that movie where when it was in the house and it had the little boy, how it was like chameleon or whatever changing with. Oh man, that was really cool.
Yeah, yeah, that was a well done movie. You know, that Michael Knight Charlemagne is his name.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
yeah, he's gonna be like a new the modern day Alfred Hitchcock. He's had some really off the wall movies.
Yeah, and some of them are really out there, but the way he makes them so intense, the way he plays them out, it's really cool. I love his movies.
Yeah.
So you've seen on you've seen a lot of Ancient Alien? You've watched a lot of that. You know, on there, that red orb they show that goes over like some of the government like the nuclear war sites and stuff like that. That's what I saw when I was younger. That exact same thing.
Wow.
That when I saw that, it was like you, Gina. Just one day, it was like, I'm going to watch. I hadn't thought about that for years, like decades. And all of a sudden, I saw it was on TV, and I'm like, I'm going to watch that, see what they're all about. It was just, I'm going to see what they're about. First stinking thing they show is that, and I got goosebumps right now. My wife was in the bedroom. I paused it, and I jumped up and ran in there. I'm like, babe, you're not going to believe it. And she come in here and looked, and I was like, that's what I saw. I couldn't believe it. It was like it was watch Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah. Cause listen, you know, I heard this word from a YouTuber called projective programming or something like that. So anyways, you know, oh man, I forget it. I just lost my whole entire thought. I was still trying to talk about somebody else, but forget it. You
Maybe
take
about
over.
like them making you want to watch something to see something or something like that. Maybe because we're talking about seeing that red ball.
Oh yeah. Well, I watch the shows, you know, because I'm, you know, pretty much. I got to keep my mind quiet and busy, you know. So, but yeah, I've always watched the shows. So, I mean, I know from Ancient Aliens to Skinwalker Ranch tonight, Tuesday night, to talk about the Curse of Oak Island. You know, these guys are treasure hunters, and they're out there. They're two brothers, and they have a crew of friends that are working. And I know one day they're gonna find the treasure. They're up in an island in Nova Scotia, right?
Yeah.
They're hunting Knights Templar treasure. I mean, how awesome is that? These guys are digging and digging and digging and digging and digging for, I don't know, 5-6 years now. Okay, they have been on Tuesday nights, and they're getting closer and closer because they've uncovered all the drilling they're doing into the ground, they've uncovered gold and silver in the water. They tested the waters down below there, and they're showing traces of gold and silver, and that's what they're looking for, treasure, you know?
Yep.
So, I mean, you know, I think they have a Bigfoot show every now and then. I haven't seen it in a while, but I think they did an episode. They probably did, you know?
They probably did. I haven't watched them either for a while. So
Ken has
had a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
If you dreamed about a huge spaceship over, I'm thinking over and over, maybe when you were young.
Over you. If you dreamed about it,
over
being
you.
over
When, gotcha. And it stuck with you all your life. Could it have been real?
Right.
That's a good question. Okay, I don't remember dreaming about a huge spaceship. Okay, what does it say? Question. If you dreamed, I never dreamed about it. Yeah, I never dreamed about it. The only fascination that I have is that I grew up watching sci-fi, War of the World movies. You know, I like mysteries, Sherlock Holmes. You know, I like to dig, find out more and more and more. Only because I want to understand. Yeah, I want to understand something. You know, it's you know, because it's you're learning stuff, and you know, I've heard a lot of stories that I believe that they're out there. I believe that. Why are people disappearing in the woods in the national forest? They're saying is not the safest place to go these days.
Yeah.
Because people disappear. People disappear. Don't come back, or they come back a week later and they're like 40 miles north of where they were.
Yeah.
You know. But most of the time they don't come back. Okay. And the people that have come back, the stories that I've heard, they don't remember much. They don't remember much. They don't know how they got there. Now that kind of was like me going around that circle. I know how I got there. There was no explanation in my brain to tell me. And because I felt fear, that made me think, you know. But so no, I've never seen anything. You know, I've never. Just like I said, the shows. You know, I'm fascinated with it, so maybe decided to show up one day and see if I would see it. I don't think it was. I don't think if that obviously had some kind of intelligence to it, or somebody controlling it. I don't think they were thinking, "Oh, I'm going to sit here until somebody sees me." You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know. It was perfectly camouflaged, you know. But I, you know, I just say to myself, stay away.
Chad. So
Stay
I
away.
like Chad's comment here. So Chad, what you're thinking is that life and history has a history of repeating itself over and over. You believe this has all happened before? This is going to be something that the Oddcast podcast, just one subject of many that he'll be diving down in rabbit holes on.
Yeah, that's a good thing because now that I think about it, and I when I think back to being very young, okay, let me tell you this. You guys can tell me to shut up anytime you want. But anyways,
no way.
okay.
Floor's wide open. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I was 4 years old. My brother Mike was watching me. We were playing ball, okay? He was about 12. The ball went across the street, and he crossed me. He crossed me, right? Crossed the street in the city. There was no traffic. Back in them days, when I was 4 years old, there was no traffic. 1 or 2 cars here an hour. So he crossed me, and he kept saying, look under the car, look under the car. So I bent down, and I looked under the car, and I saw the ball was by the curb. So as I was getting up to go around to the other side of the car to get the ball, the light changed and the car came around the corner and hit me. Hit me right in the head. Boop! And I went flying. So now, I don't remember none of that. I don't remember none of that. I just remember being in the hospital, and each side of me was a boy. On each side of me, something was wrong with him. Something was wrong with this one over here, you know. And every time I went to pick up my head, it hurt. I had a headache. My head felt like I was stabbing. So anyways, I come to find out, not until I'm going home, right? Mom just kept telling me when they come to see me, you had an accident, Don't worry about it. You're going to get better. You're going to be all right. You're coming home soon, right? Ran all kinds of tests. There didn't seem to be anything wrong with my brain or, whatever. So they took me home. I remember being in the taxi going home, big old yellow taxi in New York City. And everything, because I had a concussion, right? I had a fractured skull and a concussion, that my hearing sounded like a tunnel sound, And so they got, she got me home and stuff. And, I was fine. I got it, I got over it, and I grew up, and I had headaches. And so my mom was always taking me to the doctors. And finally, when I was about 21, I went to a chiropractor, and he took a couple of x-rays of my neck and my spine and all of that, right? And he shows me the x-ray. He says, Gina, do you know, he says, your skull is like 10 degrees off alignment, or 2, whatever it was. I don't remember. It was 10 degrees or 2 degrees. I said to him, what? He says, yeah. And I said to him, he asked, do you ever have an accident? You fall off or something? I said, I had a car accident when I was a kid. He said, oh, yeah. So the car, it knocked my head, tilted my skull a little bit, right? So I had headaches growing up. And, but, ever since then, I'm okay, But that's the excuse everybody always says, that I'm crazy because I was hit in the head by a car.
Of course.
Yeah. There's nothing normal about me, guys, to tell you the truth.
Well, you seem pretty normal here in this group.
Yeah, good. It's funny. So, all right. So look. So when do you guys show? Is it Tuesdays, and what other nights you're on? Line Cryptids show.
Sometimes, well, the other show is called Beards and Boogers. It's just kind of we call it a goof off show, but sometimes it gets pretty good. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That's just whenever hit miss. It's usually on a weekend, a night during the weekend or something.
Yep.
Okay.
So we can keep Jeff awake.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
man, that's some cool stuff. Any questions, folks?
Yeah, I had a long day of fighting equipment again, so it was.
We understand, Jeff.
Days.
You work hard, brother.
Thanks. I'm glad everybody else gets entertainment about me nodding off. It's like hanging out with the rest of my friends. It has something to do with the dairy farmers. I don't know. We're usually the ones in the corner.
Well, you got up so early,
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because my friend,
twisted.
one of my friends from way back, he's a dairy farmer too, and when I got engaged to my ex-wife, he fell asleep during the engagement.
That's funny.
You've been marked for life. Real quick, somebody had mentioned a while back in the chat here tonight, David, about your occurrence that happened to you. By the way, I want to tell you, your internet is fantastic tonight.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
much better, huh?
Hardwired
It
to
is.
the hardwired to your routers is the
Yeah.
fix.
Yep.
So, and I'm sure Gina would like to hear a portion. It's doing a. Is it possible to do an abbreviated version of what happened to you or what you've seen,
Sure.
or
Sure.
if you want to tell the whole thing, that's fine. If we can keep it within 2 hours, that'd be fine.
No
It's
problem. I
it's
can
quite a
kind
story,
of just,
Gina. It
yeah.
really is. If you haven't
Yeah.
went back to any of our older episodes when we first interviewed David,
And
these
somebody,
two or three,
yes,
we tried 2, 3, or 4 times to get this story through, and he had it. I mean, they kept kicking him offline, and I
He's
don't know.
done it on other channels too, and it's done the
Yeah,
same thing.
it's done the same thing, kicking him offline. But I think you'll find what he has to say about some of his experience with the unknown, if you will.
Yeah.
You might find interesting. So I'm not going to take your time. Is if there's anything else you'd like to say, Gina?
Oh
You
no,
know.
yeah, go ahead. Come on, David.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
So
And that's why I
David,
was
go ahead
telling
and
you, you ain't gonna say nothing here that's
right.
gonna make us think anything off about you,
Well,
except your
yeah,
head
yeah,
start.
being off.
that's why I've been comfortable just talking to you,
Yeah,
as
Good.
things have come into my head because yeah, I've never told anybody of these things that I've told you.
Okay.
Other than the UFO sighting, I told 5, 6 people, but okay. So wait
hi
till you
Red Dirt.
see one day maybe. God,
Yeah,
Okay.
but
So
and if Jeff starts snoring, I'll mute him. But anyway,
it could be part of the story.
but I
Love you,
think
Jeff.
Gina,
It's all good, brother.
you'll find this extremely intriguing. It is a crazy story.
all right,
Crazy
great,
story.
great,
It's all
great.
you,
So
brother.
I was probably around 12 years old ish, anywhere between like 11, maybe 13, somewhere. No, I don't know exactly how old I was. We lived in a mobile home trailer. It was 25 miles up in the woods in Northern California. The closest little town had like 2,000 people in it, and that was like 25 miles away. And I had I'll kind of fly through the story real quick. And so me and my younger brother used to sleep in the living room on a hide to bed couch. And I woke up and it felt like I had been choked. It woke me up like I was being choked. And so I get up and it felt like my throat was kind of closed up, and so I went into my mom and dad's bedroom, which was at the end of the hallway. And I don't know what time it was. It was in the middle of the night, some point in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
And I go into my mom and dad's bedroom. As you walk in my mom and dad's bedroom, my dad slept on the right-hand side of the bed and my mom slept on the left. So I walked around to my mom's side and I said, Mom, I can't breathe. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I can't breathe. She's like, well, can you take a breath? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, then you can breathe. I said, Mom, my throat feels like I'm choking. And she goes, okay. And she always did this to any of us kids. There were 6 of us kids. And she was like, just climb into bed with me and you'll be all right. And I said, okay. So I'm laying there, I'm laying on my back, and I couldn't tell you how long I'd been laying there. I was trying to get myself back to sleep, but I do remember having my hand kind of on my neck still, just laying on my back. And I had my eyes closed. And it would be like if you were sitting by a campfire and you had your eyes closed, how you could see like the flickering of the fire through your eyes.
yeah.
And I remember seeing that and it dawned on me. And so before I opened my eyes, I thought to myself, am I really seeing that? And so I paid attention and I could see the lights like moving. So I opened my eyes, and when I had came into my mom and dad's bedroom, I had shut the door, the bedroom door. And when I'm opened my eyes, I could see through the wall this red aura, like red glow. And I could tell it was going left to right. And I could tell it was getting brighter and brighter coming towards me. And so I'm just, watching, and all of a sudden it just like comes right down, right where the bedroom door and the wall and the ceiling all met right there. It just like, it didn't make no sound, but like just halfway, it was that red ball that was on Ancient Aliens. That red ball just went, oh, and it stopped like halfway through the wall. and it had these white big sparkles, like big huge sparkles, like a 4th of July sparkler that was
Yeah.
shooting from the edge of it, and it was going out to this, hard to explain it all, like around it, like 3 feet around that ball was purple, like a purple glow, and those sparks were coming out and they would die out before they hit that edge of that purple, so they were like just shooting out within that purple.
Wow.
And the red part looked like lava or plasma or something, like turning. The ball itself wasn't churning, but like inside was moving. And I sat up, and in my mind, it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. But I sat up, and I could see like the lines and the paneling of the wall and stuff in that old mobile home paneling. I could see that through the purple and everything. And I could see my dad was facing away, and from us sleeping, and my mom was in the middle facing my dad, facing away from me. And I sat up and I put my left hand on my mom's hip, and I point up. I'm like, Mom, look at that red light. And she didn't say nothing. And so I looked down at her and I was like, Mom, look at that red light. And I'm still pointing at it. And I remember she started to lift her head off the bed and put her head right back down. And like I said, it was lit up in the room. It was just a red light. And without her lips moving, I heard her voice saying, Son, you're dreaming, go back to sleep. And I'm still pointing, and my other hand's still on her hip. I'm like, no, I'm not, Mom, it's right there. And I turn and look at it, and it was like 2, 3. And then the next thing I know is, it's like if you've ever had a surgery or passed out, how like when you start coming to, how everything's kind of like you're trying to figure out where you're at, and kind of you're starting to see again and everything. I was doing that, and I was still pointing, and my left hand was still off to my side. And now all of a sudden I'm not even in my house anymore. And it's like I'm looking through like clear glass, like a glass wall. And it was perfect black sky, like black space, and stars were really bright. I couldn't see the moon, couldn't see the earth. I couldn't see nothing, just stars. And in my mind, I knew I was not on earth at that point. I mean, I knew I was in space. And so realizing that I'm still feeling like I'm holding my mom's hip, I just turn and this is get weird, I'm telling you, but this is all truth. And there's like a red-haired, black skin with wrinkly skin hand holding my hand. And I can see my pajamas. I remember I had like Otis, the old cartoon Otis. I think it was Garfield and Otis. I can't remember that. But it was Otis, the little dog. And I had those pajamas on. And I could see that on my sleeve. And I look right up. The nails went to like a point, kind of like a vampire's nail. Black nails. Thick black nails. And I just went from that. And it was like my eyes were being guided. And I go right up the arm, and it's a hairy arm, red hair arm. And here's this, my dad-sized Bigfoot looking straight down at me, and his eyes were huge, just looking straight at me, and we're holding hands. And I go right from his eyes and look, and he's holding Mom's hand, and Mom and Dad are parallel to me and him. So it's like we're, like parallel, like an L shape. And I go right up to Mom. She's red hair. She's looking straight down at me with her eyes, just like white in her eyes. She's holding hands with Daddy Bigfoot. And he's they're all three looking straight at me with kind of like a wild look on their eyes. And my eyes go from that to the right a little bit, and stand like the wall behind me. It was kind of that color of a wall. I couldn't see the ceiling. I couldn't see the floor. Couldn't tell you what was in the room. I could just tell you, it was like that color wall behind me.
Yeah.
Was these other two alien beings. They were as tall as the dad Bigfoot, like 8 or 10 foot tall. The first one was like a praying mantis looking being. And it had like really like charcoaled, like burnt bone cheeks, real pronounced cheeks. No, it didn't look like any skin on them, just bone. and its eyeballs were like oval shaped, and they went around kind of like the side of its head. And so I just look at that, and standing next to it was this tall blue. It's like the tall gray aliens, or like on signs, like that tall alien on there, but it was blue, had a big round head, like perfectly round head. Its eyeball, so the mantis one eyeballs were black, like black eyes, and the blue one had like silver eyes, like the cop glasses, how they have that silver lens on them, like,
Yeah.
and they were shaped kind of almond shaped, kind of like the gray alien's supposed to be. And they're both looking next to me. They're not looking at me. They're looking next to me. And so I look at them, boom, boom. And then I look to my right more, and there's a small little gray alien looking up at them, looking up at the two aliens, and its head was going like it was communicating with them. And then as soon as I look at that and see that, it turns, boom, looks at me. And the next thing I know is I'm like have that same waking up from a surgery sensation, like coming to, and I'm walking up the hallway, like if I was leaving my mom and dad's room, walking back up the hallway, and I hear my own voice saying, drink pickle juice. And I went to the kitchen, I took some pickles and chugged the juice out of it, and that was that.
Wow.
And it was decades later that I saw Ancient Aliens, and that orb was on there.
Oh wow, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's amazing. Okay. That's amazing what you went through, what you saw. But yeah, the Ancient Aliens, let me tell you something. They're the ones that are going to get people ready to accept some kind of a, what do they call it? Explode. What the hell is it? Exposure. Yeah, right?
Exposure, yes.
Some kind of exposure. So, because they talk, first of all, back in the 50s and the 60s, we all used to watch the sci-fi movies, aliens and all of this and stuff. But nowadays, people are experiencing this stuff. This is heavy. I think that they did make a deal with our government, okay? And I think that they do show up to take some people because they're allowed to, okay? And, for whatever the government could be getting out of them. Well, of course, the government's going to get something, But sooner or later, people are going to be very angry when they find out the truth. If there is some truth behind all of this. But there has to be, because, like your experience, damn, Dave.
It was crazy.
And this
And,
is
Gina, it was like
we haven't lost service.
Yeah.
I know. I did for a second. Did you see that? For a split
freeze
second
up.
afterward. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Gina, people ask me, were the Bigfoot, part of the aliens, like were they part of the ship? The way it seemed like we were all on lockdown. It seemed like they were abducted also. That's what it felt like. Like us four were on lockdown.
Okay.
It was really strange.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's that. And you were 12 years old. Yeah. So.
Ish.
Wow.
Yeah, it was around that age. Yeah.
Okay.
My family only remember me talking about the red light that came in mom and dad's room, because that's pretty much all I talked about. Then after I saw that on Ancient Aliens, I was like, well, I'm going to tell everybody the whole story.
Oh yeah. Because like I've been saying, right? I said, I'm going to go on this show. These people, maybe they'll believe me, maybe they won't believe me. But, you have a platform that has allowed people to come and talk about their experiences, with the Bigfoot. or with UFOs or with whatever's unusual.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
because whatever, this way. So now I can let it go too. That's how you let it go. You talk about it more, and then you let it go. So it's an experience we'll never forget. And right. So
Yep.
now they got to prove to me who they are. Okay, that's what we want to know now. Who are they? Are they us? Is it aliens? Is it some other kind of beings that we call aliens because they're not human, like we are human, right?
Yes.
But look, I even seen a story not too long ago, and then that underground. I forgot what country it is. There's a country, I'll find out and I'll tell you the next time we talk, where under the earth there is an actual city where, like, oh, it was the Mayans or the Aztec, that underneath their pyramids, way underneath, there's cities. So what were those cities for? Why did the Aztec and the Maya disappear? Nobody knows why they disappeared. Well, they probably disappeared from illness, because once the Spanish came, right? Isn't the Spanish came and to the Aztecs
Mhm.
and did them in, So disease comes and kills those people, but I don't know. So have you ever talked, Dave, to a psychiatrist or, a therapist or anything? Or
I have.
just
I never have. I've been asked that. I'm RH negative for sure. Are you?
I don't know. That's funny that you brought that up. I gotta check. I gotta get the VA to do a blood
I'm not
test.
sure what mine is either.
I forget what mine is.
Yeah, so you're RH negative, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
I had because every year I do like a yearly, exam or whatever.
Right.
And the last time they did blood, I asked them, and they're like, "Well, we can check for you." And they came back and said you're RH negative.
Yeah, I should have done that last time I got blood work, but I completely forgot.
Yeah,
Mm.
like O negative or something like that.
Yeah, and I've read up on the RH negative is supposed to be very rare. Right? It's rare.
Rarer, yeah. There's some. I think there's another one that's even more rare, but
So you have RH negative, you have RH positive. So just like you have O positive or O negative, right?
yeah.
So one is I forgot what it was, but anyway, you can Google that and look that up, because lost my thought again.
That's what, we're talking about blood types. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, the question about the physical changes. No, I've always looked around my neck area, your head, your ears, because that's where other people you see on TV, the back of your head and stuff. I don't have anything, but I do have what some RH negative people supposedly have is an extra vertebrae at the bottom of my spine. Instead of I think there's 4 or 5. Should only be 5, the lower vertebrae or something. So I have an extra vertebrae. Now I even heard, that's why I gotta look it up. I heard that some RH negative people have that extra vertebrae. You ever go to a chiropractor? Have x-rays?
I've had x-rays. I've had 2 back surgeries.
Okay.
Yeah, like lower back.
Right.
But I don't recall them saying anything about like extra vertebrae or anything.
Okay, because if you had it, they would see it, and they would probably tell you. Because my chiropractor is the first thing he said to me. Do you know you have an extra vertebrae? And I'm like, what? He says, yeah, it looks like another vertebrae was trying to grow, when you were a baby, I guess, forming. I said, oh, that's good luck, right? Hopefully that's good luck.
Flat
That's a
Rock
good.
said that his blood type is Bluebell ice cream.
Bluebell ice cream. David, did you notice any physical changes to you? Any lumps on the back of your neck or anything?
So I've never noticed any lumps, but I did. I don't know exactly like the timeline of when it happened, but I do remember waking up and it was, I mean, like I never had accidents in bed or nothing like that. But I remember one night, and I don't know if it's before this or after it. Jeff, so I'm sleepy. But I had woke up and I thought I'd peed the bed, and it was blood, like bloody underwear, blood. My mom had to change the sheets and everything. And I honestly can't tell you if that was before or after, or if it was years after. Honestly, I couldn't tell you that. But Chris Reinhardt, he sent me the EMF detector, and I checked myself, and I didn't find anything abnormal. Don't know if that means anything or not, but
Oh yeah, that's some kind of energy thing, right?
yeah, I
To
suppose
put
if you've had an implant, it would pick it up.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not worried about it though. I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't think. I think just some strange stuff has happened. I've seen some weird things. I think some people just are sensitive more than your average person who's just running, going to work, taking care of the family. Some people, yeah, because I've heard all kinds of stories. I heard a story that a Bigfoot, a little boy went missing, and the parents heard that horrible scream they supposedly scream out, and it was days. Everybody was searching and searching for this poor child, and like 7 or 11 days went by, and they found the kid. He come walking out of the woods all of a sudden one day. Yeah, he don't know where he was. He don't know where he went. All he knows it was a big man that took him.
Oh,
A big
wow.
man took him by the hand. You know.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna try to twist Mary's arm. She's had an alien experience, I guess, of some sort. I hopefully she'll say yeah, send me the link and come in real quick and tell us about it real quick.
Yeah, we need her.
This is the show. This is the show. Gina
Yeah.
started it, or that way. Gina started it, so we're gonna. No, not right now. Okay, not right now. She says.
I've seen some plenty of interesting things at night in the sky.
I bet you have.
Mm,
Stars
like what?
stars that move.
Stars do move. Some do.
Well,
I know
most
what
of
you're
them
saying, Jeff. I'm giving you a hard
most of
time.
them
Yes,
don't you know, rise
Cindy.
1,000 feet in elevation while you're staring at them, and then they just stop
Yeah,
moving again.
move up. She had an experience. I,
Yeah.
I talked about it Sunday night when we were on our Beers and Boogers show. That she was looking out her apartment window some years back, and she could see one. It was just doing this, zigzagging, doing stuff like this. What does that?
Hmm.
Fat Rock got a video of something flying across the sky. Things sure don't look like a plane. It don't surprise me. Especially now that the government's come out about it. They
Yeah.
finally
Mhm.
cracked the show on that and started admitting
Yeah.
that they have evidence of stuff. So
It's I think they are inching their way because this History Channel is the perfect venue to put all this stuff out. Because now listen, I've been listening for a while. So in 2017, 2018, I noticed that how they have the beginning of the show it comes on and the music and all the introduction and stuff, ancient aliens, blah 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 blah, and shit, I keep losing my damn thought. I'm sorry, I keep losing my thought.
That's all right.
Oh, so anyways, oh, so the introduction changed. The guy comes out and he starts narrating, whatever, History Channel, blah 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 blah, and the first time I heard the guy say, "We are not alone. We have never been alone." So it's the first time I heard him say that. That has to be back in 2017, 2018. So next time you go look for Ancient Aliens on the History Channel, right? Friday nights is usually when it is, whatever. Watch the introduction and listen to what they say. Because it was always the ancient alien people believe, yes, we really are being visited, blah, 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 blah. It's possible we are. And all of a sudden they said, we are not alone. We've never been alone. I said to myself, I yelled into my brother, Willie, they admitted it. They just admitted it.
They admitted it.
We've never been alone. Okay?
Yep. You're right, Hillary.
Yep.
She's in big trouble. She's ruined for life now.
Crazy. Okay, listen, guys. Do you mind if I cut off? This is way past my bedtime.
We don't want to hold you.
It's all good.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Listen, thank
appreciate
you.
you coming on, and by all means, if you have any other experiences, let us know.
I definitely will. I really got to go. I got to crash.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you, Gina.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Wow.
That was awesome.
She did a wonderful job. She did a wonderful job telling that story. And not a story, it's an occurrence. It's a happening. And Jeff, real quick, I want to talk to you about, you had sent me, back when we first started talking, you sent me some potentially some video here locally.
Yeah.
Over a barn, I think, but could possibly have been.
Yeah, that was over. That was
right
over in the direction of Sawville.
Okay.
From Line Road.
Okay. Well, I thinking it was over here by Peach Bottom. I don't know why I was thinking that. But anyway, what was that? You don't have to give the person's name, but was that recent? I mean, fairly recent, or
yeah, it was.
I don't remember.
It was last year.
Last year, okay.
Yeah.
So that was really recent when you sent it then.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
And he was actually over here helping me haul manure that night. A couple about a week later, we were watching stuff over the park, stopping and starting, and then moving around, and
yes.
First you'd think something like a helicopter, the way it was hovering around, but it never, no lights, just that one light glowing, and there was like no indicators of anything like aircraft.
Yeah.
It didn't have any of the blinking lights. It didn't have any of that stuff. And you'd watch it, it would sit in one spot for 10 minutes, then it would move. And this is all at like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, the movement was interesting, what I remember.
Yeah.
Because you could see it. You could physically see it.
Oh, Flat Rock just sent me a video of something.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah, he just sent me a video of lights.
Yeah, he was saying earlier in the chat that he had something.
Oh, that is interesting.
I try to think if I've ever. I don't ever remember. I remember seeing something down in Deer Creek Flats, driving home, old 71 Charger, and something went in front of me, but high, not high, but higher than my car. It was pretty quick moving straight across. Like today, if you were to throw like the perfect frisbee, I'm not saying it was a disc shape or anything, but it was something metallic color, but not bright, but dull. But it could have been a bird. It could have been anything.
Yeah.
Uh, that's the only time I could say that I recall seeing anything that may have resembled something. But,
My grandparents remember. I remember them telling me one night. This would have been back in the 2000s.
Mhm.
They had come home from the cabin, and it was probably like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And as they were sitting at the mailbox getting ready to go into their place, they saw what a giant light, like right above the farm, like looked like it crashed, like right behind it, just like this big ball of light.
yeah,
And then they actually drove in there because they thought it had like something had crashed into the farm, but they never did. We never found anything.
yeah, yeah, Todd. Yeah, I had a 71 Charger, I had a 69 Super B, had a 74 Charger SC. I used to be an old Mopar kid.
But I've seen a lot of the stuff that they fly out of the base around here. Like I've even seen stealth bombers come over. And if
Yeah,
anybody ever gets the chance to see a stealth up close and personal,
yeah, they are wicked.
oh my
Yeah, they're wild.
god. He came over the trees right here across the driveway, Jerry, and he couldn't have
Mhm.
been more than 100 feet off of those
Oh,
trees.
wow. Okay.
I mean, he was, and I'm trying to follow him up the road, which I can't do that in a Dodge Dakota. So,
Right.
I've like got to the floor trying to follow him, and he's going up the road, and he goes right over the top of the farm, and that was when he broke the sound barrier.
Okay.
And Dad had thought one of the tractors had
Exploded.
something had blown up on it. He shut the tractor down as because it passed right over top of him.
Yeah.
And he hit that, and within a couple of seconds, he's over the state park and gone.
Yeah. That's wild. I pictured that car in here somewhere. Had. Yeah. Oh well. I'll dig some pictures up of it, Todd, one of these days. I mean, it wasn't a looker. It was built to run. But anyway, uh, yeah, I've seen them one time in the air, and it was just like, whoa, you got to stop and look. It'd be like Bigfoot flying through the air in front of you. Wow, that was a really cool thing to see flying. Can't miss them.
Yeah, my favorite ones to catch flying around here is the A-10 Warthogs.
Yeah,
When you see them coming over, because they fly over to the proving, they fly around the proving ground stuff all the
yes,
time.
yeah. Well, it's almost 2 hours, fellas. And Jeff,
Hey, can I tell
got
you
a
guys?
second win.
Can I tell just
Yeah.
a quick short story of something that happened to my
Sure,
sister? Okay,
sure.
this is like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago or a month ago. It's probably within a couple of weeks ago. It's just one of those odd ones that's like makes you scratch your head. She's always heard my stories about like the weird stuff happening and never really had like time and space kind of weird stuff happen. But so the people that we caretake for right here on this property, her property's right next door. And she's an old lady, right? Drives a little car and stuff. So my sister was leaving town, which is about 8 miles or something from here, the little town, and passed the old lady up. She was heading home too, or this direction too. So my sister was like, "Is that Dell?" That's her name. My sister looks over, she's passing, and it was Dell. So she drives really slow. She's like looking over the steering wheel kind of thing. And went that 8 miles. My sister's going up, turns off the highway 101 and is going up our paved road. and goes up there, and there's that old lady sitting facing down the road checking her mail. And my sister could not understand how that happened.
Yeah.
She just passed her and left her behind. And then as my sister was driving up, here's the old lady coming down the road checking her mail. So it was one of those things like, well, how did she get ahead of my sister and is now going the opposite way down the road? It was really weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Oh, I bet they do go though, Mary. Yeah. Okay.
I have not, Hillary.
Okay.
It has been hushed up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. I was getting ready to put that up on the screen, but you done read it, so that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
That
I
you
haven't
don't
heard
hear
anything.
anymore. It's weird you don't hear any more about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You won't either. You know.
No. Yeah.
Sooner or later, that shell's going to start cracking too, with the government
Yep.
stuff. But I'm not going to get into it here. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Jeff, it's time to go to bed finally.
I made it
Jeff,
back.
go get some sleep.
You
I had to
did.
go revive myself.
I got 3 more shows to do this week, so I'm ready to go turn in for the evening, I think. So
That's right.
I presume we'll have one tomorrow night, and Thursday night we got a big antique tractor show.
Hollywood Squares of antique tractor pulling.
Oh yeah. And Friday night, correct, Chad? Chad's still in here.
Yep.
Chad,
There he
Chad,
is.
Chad, Blackie.
He's in there. He's poked up.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, we plan to do a live hit. I guess it's going to be Friday. It's up to him. So
Woo-hoo.
thank you, Erica. Yeah, I was very happy with our guest tonight. She did an awesome job. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for those people that could, come on, feel comfortable, and just tell their story. That's all
Hillary,
we're
I'm already wearing my pajamas.
Who was that just asked that? Pine Knot Yoder asked where he can see your tractor footage.
EP pulling videos. I'll tell you what. I'll put it down in chat. It's easier that way. It's on Facebook. It's another channel. We have a live show. Usually on Wednesday nights. We've been a little slow until our season gets started here, having a live podcast. But
Yep,
I post
looking
1 or
forward
2
to seeing
videos
you
a
next
day.
month.
1 or 2 videos a day I post. It's I'll type it in the chat here. I've been in that crazy sport. I've been going since 1975, but I've been filming full time. Oh my goodness, long time, early 2000s, I guess. So,
Yeah, and then Windows
where you had to-
Thursday. Sorry.
yeah, yes, yeah. Wendell does have a show coming Thursday, I believe. I think it's 5 Eastern. He's in Georgia. Is that 5 Eastern or 5 Central?
That's Eastern, yeah.
Is it Eastern time? And
Kill!
He's in Alabama, isn't he?
I thought he was in Georgia. Maybe he is Alabama.
I think Wendell's in Alabama.
All right, well, it'd be Central.
Alabama, yeah, I think so.
Okay, I thought he was in Georgia. Wendell, what state are you in? Alabama or Georgia?
Alabama.
5 Central. Okay. Let's see.
Get him, Mary.
Yeah, Pine Knot. Sometimes I forget to change my name when I'm in some of the chats, and it comes in EEP pulling videos. That's me instead of Old Line Cryptids.
Yep. Wendell's in
Alabama. Alabama. Everybody's in Alabama. Dang it. Chat. Blackie. I'm not going off of here until you answer me. Just keep it quiet, Jerry. Just tell me.
And right up there in the corner is the Oddcast podcast.
There you go.
Yep, absolutely. The Oddcast Podcast,
Oh,
Off the Record.
There's Blackie.
Yes, Jerry. Okay. Yeah, check out Bigfoot New York Todd too. Cool stuff, man. His research is awesome. I love the science behind his research.
Yes.
With the fingerprinting and stuff like that, and the actual luring them into a window of whatever with stickers, with pictures, and they do it. It worked. It's pretty cool stuff. So, yeah. So Friday, sometime we'll get collaborate with Chad and go to their channel at no spaces at the Oddcast Podcast Off the Record. No spaces, all one long word. At the @ sign, the Oddcast Podcast Off the Record. Subscribe and thank you, Pine Knot. Appreciate that for subbing. Absolutely, sub here too, folks. It's free. Jeffrey's getting worried that we're not going to make 1,000. We're halfway there almost. We want to do 1,000 plus. So, Pine Knot. I try to keep them separate, you know. But yeah, if you like truck and tractor pulling, that crazy stuff, antique pulling, you name it, we film it. So that's why I don't go in the woods so much in the summertime because I'm too dang busy filming tractor pulls. So
Todd and Mary got a show on April 12th with a special guest.
Todd and Mary. Okay.
Wonder who the special guest is.
Mhm.
Is it the new guest we just seen on the Pennsylvania Bigfoot site? Mary? Read it this morning. You better hurry up and get him because I'm going after him. Me and Jeffrey and David. We're going to get him.
You're turning me loose.
I'm kidding. But, I'm glad he reached out to you guys, Mary. It looks like
Now, was that the one?
Okay.
Was that the one from Michelle, or was that the one from? Because you sent me something about somebody seeing one at Michelle.
necklace. What is on the dog man's necklace?
Behind you.
Oh, I can't. He's not behind me. I was getting ready to turn around. It's a background. It's a
No, but
digital
over here,
background.
this guy over here's got a necklace of some sort.
Well, hold on a minute.
Oh yeah, the dog man. Yeah. What is that?
Over here.
Is that a dog man or something else? What is it?
It's kind of a monstery looking thing. Actually, I've got a larger photograph. Let me put it in the background here. Real quick. Todd and Logan, April 9th. Okay. Good deal. We'll be sure to check that one out. Now we just gotta make it smaller. It ain't that way, is it? I'm not. It looks like a Z or something on it. Let me pull it up here separately. Go ahead and talk, Jeff. Talk.
I'm gonna try to take a
I was
picture. I'm gonna try to take a picture of it and blow it up.
I have a picture of it here in my downloads. I gotta.
It's weird. I don't know what that is.
It's something that AI created. So
Yeah, it's almost like the bottom one's almost like an anchor, like a ship anchor, and then like a weird line above it. It's weird.
is that your dog? That's your Jeff's dog snoring. I wonder where he gets it from. Poor Jeff. Little warming up.
Gary, was it the Misha one you sent me earlier, or is it a different one?
As far as the guy that reached out to
Yeah.
Mary, It's out there in Washington County, Pennsylvania.
Oh, what did you send that to me in? Because I'm trying to find it.
Should have been. Oh wow, I don't know what that is, Dave. Yeah, let me take that over here and we'll take a look at it real quick.
Michael X says it's his dog tag.
Yeah, he looks kind of angry, like somebody tried to steal it from him. Let me see here. We'll share that real quick. Let me get back over
It's
here.
really weird.
Oh, I found it, Jerry. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna. It should be in chat or Messenger, I think. I got it. Hang tight. Here we go. Add to stage. Make it big. Now I'm going to increase it some more.
Do you believe?
Is that what you're looking for right there? It's right here. Not exactly sure.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any idea if it's some kind of symbolism for something? Symbolism for something? That was almost tongue twister. I don't know. What about the other guys? Yep. They all look like they're just a little upset they got that round thing flying by them there over top of them. So
Mm-hmm.
makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. I'm not sure what that is. If you know, we're all
Hillary says it's a ghost swimming with waving his hands.
Might be. You know what? You know what we're into here, right? This is a Southern goodbye. We started like 10 minutes before the 2 hour mark. Now we're almost 10 minutes past the 2 hour mark. You know who we learned that from? Take a guess. He wasn't Chad. His name's Roger.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, somebody earlier said, "Is this going to be a 6-hour knife show?"
No.
Nope.
No. Looks like Jimmy Durante on the necklace.
Well, we've done them what 4 hours.
Oh, yeah. 4. I forget how long the longest one is. It's over 4 hours.
Michael X wants to know if that's a naked zipliner.
That's Jeff's category. You got to ask him.
Hillary's got to pee. Hurry the hell up.
All right. Actually, there's one more story. I'm just kidding. All right. Yeah, we're out of here. Got a lot of late nights this week. So thanks for watching. Again, wonderful. I was impressed tonight. Good show. UFOs. I'm glad to see that we touched on a different subject for a change. Not that UFO or Bigfoot's not cool, but and Hawk, smash that button. Please don't piss Mary off.
Don't.
How's
You want
Hillary
like-
doing? Hillary, you still hanging in here? Or are you at Walmart watching people again?
Yeah, Todd said their show was 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. It took a while to get through that one because they made me talk about my silly little stuff.
I think I woke up from my nap and might have caught the end of it.
That's right. You did go to sleep. That's right. Anyway, okay. Next Tuesday, not sure who's going to be here yet, but I'm sure we'll have somebody here. 8 p.m. Eastern, as always. Beers and boogers this weekend. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Other than that, again, the Oddcast podcast, off the record. It's coming in April, and there's going to be a live hit. I'm thinking Friday. I'm going to leave it up to Chad and Erica. So, but it'll be coming. If you catch it, get subscribed to the channel. Watch for it. Let us know everything's working. That would be a help if we could have some people watching. So, okay. With that said, Jeffrey, it's time to get out of here, Jeffrey and David. David, awesome job tonight, brother.
Thank you.
We
Thank
made
you.
David
Stay
talk, and
invited
he did
tomorrow
good.
night on Mary's podcast.
Yes, tomorrow night, Mary has a podcast. Absolutely.
Yep.
We got podcasts every night of the week, and more
Woohoo!
coming. So that's awesome. We'll be there, Miss Mary. I'll be
Yep.
there. If I don't have a show tomorrow night, I'll be there the whole time. If not, then I'll be there in the beginning of the show. So we better go. Hillary's going to start screaming. So,
She's gonna pee herself.
guys, I'll be right back. Rest of you next week. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share. It's free. Please.
Night, night.
Night, footers.
That's the one I was waiting on. Okay.
Uh huh.
See ya.